If you've looked at your heating bill this winter and felt your stomach drop, you are not alone. And today, I want to show you something that could change the way you heat your home forever, using a project that costs less than $8 and takes about an hour to build. This is not a gimmick, it is basic physics, and homeowners all over cold climates are quietly using this trick to cut their heating costs without touching their thermostat settings in a drastic way. Before we get into the build, let's talk about why your heating bill is so high in the first place. Because understanding the problem is what makes the solution make sense. Most homes lose an enormous amount of heat through windows, especially older single pane or poorly sealed double pane windows. During the day, sunlight pours through that glass and warms your living room, but the moment the sun goes down, that same glass becomes a cold surface that pulls heat right back out of your house. Your furnace or heat pump then has to work overtime just to replace what leaked out through the glass, and that is money leaving your wallet every single hour of every single night. This is the hidden reason why your house feels cold even with the heat on, and it is also why so many homeowners assume they need a brand new furnace or expensive replacement windows when really the fix can start much smaller and much cheaper. That is where the $8 solar DIY heater comes in. The idea is simple. You are going to build what is called a solar air heater, sometimes known as a solar window heater, using materials you can find at almost any hardware store or even in your recycling bin. The concept has been used for decades in off-grid cabins and greenhouses, and it works on one basic principle. Dark surfaces absorb sunlight and convert it into heat, and if you trap that heat and direct it into your living space, you get free warmth pulled straight from the sun with zero electricity and zero gas. Here is what you need to gather, and I promise this list will not break the bank. You will want a cardboard box, ideally a sturdy one like a moving box or an appliance box, a can of flat black spray paint, a roll of clear plastic sheeting, or even a few gallon-sized clear plastic bags cut open and taped together, some aluminum foil, a utility knife, and a bit of tape or hot glue. If you already have foil and tape sitting in a kitchen drawer, your total cost really can land around $6 to $8, mostly for the black paint and the plastic sheeting. Some homeowners even reuse aluminum cans, cutting the tops and bottoms off and stacking them into columns, painting them black, which creates air channels that heat up incredibly fast in direct sunlight. But for beginners, the cardboard box version is faster to build and just as effective for a single room. Start by taking your cardboard box and cutting away one of the large side panels so that you have an open face. Line the inside of the box with aluminum foil, shiny side facing outward toward where the opening will be. The foil reflects and concentrates sunlight inward rather than letting it scatter and get absorbed by the plain cardboard, and this small step meaningfully increases how much heat your box collects. Next, take your flat black spray paint and coat a piece of thin sheet metal, an old cookie sheet, or even heavy-duty black construction paper glued to cardboard, and place this dark absorber panel inside the box at a slight angle. Black absorbs far more solar energy than any other color, which is exactly why solar collectors, solar water heaters, and even asphalt driveways get so hot in direct sun. This absorber panel is the heart of your solar air heater because it is where sunlight actually converts into usable heat. Once your absorber panel is in place, cut 2 holes in the box, one near the bottom and one near the top, just large enough to fit a small section of dryer vent hose or even a rolled up piece of foil duct tape formed into a tube. These 2 holes create airflow. Cold room air enters through the bottom hole, travels across the sun-heated black panel, warms up, rises, and exits through the top hole back into your room. This is called convection, and it is the exact same principle that makes a car interior become an oven on a sunny day, except here we are harnessing that effect on purpose to heat your living room instead of accidentally cooking your steering wheel. Finally, seal the open face of the box with your clear plastic sheeting, stretching it tight and taping every edge so there are no gaps. This plastic layer acts like a mini greenhouse, letting sunlight in but trapping the heat inside the box so it cannot escape back outside. For the best results, try to get a double layer of plastic with a small air gap between the 2 sheets, since this extra layer of insulation can boost the temperature inside your solar collector significantly, sometimes by an extra 10 to 15 degrees compared to a single layer. Now for placement, which honestly matters just as much as the build itself, set your solar air heater in a south-facing window if you are in the northern hemisphere, since that is where you will get the most direct and consistent sunlight throughout the day. Prop the box at an angle, tilted so the black absorber panel is facing as directly into the sun as possible, similar to how solar panels are angled on a rooftop. On a clear, sunny winter day, even when outdoor temperatures are below freezing, the air coming out of that top vent can reach well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And that warm air will naturally flow into your room, especially if you place a small fan nearby to help push it along, though many homeowners find the natural convection alone is enough to notice a real difference within the first afternoon of use. The savings add up because you are essentially giving your furnace or heat pump a helping hand during daylight hours, which are usually the hours your heating system runs the least efficiently anyway, since it is fighting against sunlight streaming through cold glass. By pre-warming the air near a window with free solar energy, your thermostat is less likely to trigger your heating system as often, and over the course of a full winter season, homeowners using 2 or 3 of these boxes across sunny windows report noticeably lower heating bills, sometimes shaving off 10 to 20% depending on your climate, how many hours of direct sun your home gets, and how well the rest of your house is sealed. Speaking of sealing, this project works best as part of a bigger energy efficiency strategy rather than a standalone fix. This is where a lot of homeowners make a costly mistake. They spend money on solar collectors, smart thermostats, or upgraded insulation, but they ignore the small air leaks around doors, window frames, and electrical outlets that are silently draining warm air out of the house all winter long. Before or alongside building your solar air heater, take an afternoon to run your hand along window and door frames on a windy day. If you feel even a slight draft, grab a tube of caulk or a roll of weather stripping, both of which cost just a few dollars, and seal those gaps. The single habit, checking and resealing drafts every fall, is one of the most overlooked home maintenance tasks, yet it has one of the highest returns on investment of anything you can do to your house. It also helps to pair your solar air heater with heavy insulated curtains or thermal curtains on your windows. Open those curtains during the day to let your solar heater and natural sunlight do their work, then close them tightly the moment the sun starts to set. This traps the heat you have gained during the day and prevents your windows from turning into a cold sink overnight, which is often the single biggest reason a house that felt warm at 3 in the afternoon feels chilly again by 8 at night. Another smart pairing is reflective foil insulation placed behind radiators or baseboard heaters, since this cheap material bounces heat back into the room instead of letting it soak into an exterior wall and escape outside. Combined with your solar air heater running in a sunny window, you are essentially attacking heat loss and heat gain from multiple angles at once, all for a total investment that is still likely under $30 if you build several of these devices and add basic weather stripping around your home. For homeowners who want to take this even further, consider building a second, larger version of this solar air heater mounted just outside a window using a repurposed storm window frame or a simple wood box with a glass or clear acrylic front. These larger builds can heat an entire small room and are a popular passive solar project because once they are built, they require essentially zero maintenance beyond an occasional wipe down of the plastic or glass front to remove dust and keep sunlight transmission at its best. Just remember that any exterior build needs to be weatherproofed carefully, using outdoor rated tape or silicone sealant around every seam so that rain and snow cannot get inside and ruin your cardboard or wood components. It is worth mentioning safety here as well, since even a simple project like this deserves a little caution. Keep your solar air heater away from curtains, paper, or anything flammable, since the interior can get quite hot on sunny days, well beyond what you might expect from a cardboard box. Check on it periodically, especially the first few times you use it, just to get a feel for how hot it runs in your specific window and how quickly the room around it heats up. If you have pets or small children, place it somewhere they cannot easily knock over or reach into, since the surfaces inside can be warm enough to be uncomfortable to bare skin during peak sun hours. What makes this project so appealing is not just the upfront savings, it is the mindset shift it creates. Once you build one solar air heater and watch warm air pour out of a box that cost you $8, you start looking at your whole house differently. You start noticing other places where free energy is being wasted, whether that is an uninsulated attic hatch, a water heater running hotter than it needs to, or an old furnace filter clogged with dust that is forcing your system to work harder than necessary. This little project has a way of turning homeowners into far more energy-conscious people, and that awareness alone often leads to bigger savings down the road because you start tackling other issues with the same do-it-yourself confidence. If you try this project, give it at least a full week of consistent sunny days before judging the results, since one cloudy stretch will not give you a fair picture of what it can really do. Track your usual heating bill against a month where you actively use 2 or 3 of these solar air heaters in your sunniest windows, and pay attention to how your thermostat behaves during the day, since many homeowners notice their heating system simply runs less often between late morning and early evening once these boxes are in place and doing their job. At the end of the day, staying warm in winter does not always require a bigger budget, a new furnace, or a call to an expensive contractor. Sometimes it just takes a cardboard box, a can of black paint, a sheet of plastic, and a little bit of sunlight to remind you that some of the best home upgrades are the simple ones sitting right in front of you, literally shining through your own windows every single day. Build one this weekend, place it in your sunniest window, and see for yourself how much warmth you have been letting slip away for free.